Welcome guys, unfortunately I'm recording this video for the second time. I forgot to turn on mic, but okay, never mind. Let's start. It is patch number 3, it is already on the live server, so before we're gonna start, make some snacks, make some coffee, and cheers, let's go. And don't forget to press like button, likes are very important. Beyond the Veil patch number 3 was installed on the live server. Let's go with Avalonian changes, camp changes. Roaming Avalonian mobs and weaker Avalonian camps have been adjusted in difficulty and reward to work well for 1/3 players. These camps are now marked with a green chest icon on the map, as they were in previous iterations of the roads. Medium Avalonian camps have been largely left unchanged, but they are better protected from very small groups taking advantage of their reward, so this content should now remain exclusively to groups 4-6 players or more. These camps are marked with a blue chest icon on the map. The same thing about orange, so basically legendary. What SBI have done? SBI basically returned back old Avalonian roads, thank god. And make it possible to farm these green chests as a solo or small group of players, which is nice. So today on the stream I was roaming with Coco and we were testing these changes. What can I say? You can clear this green chest solo in a specific PvE setup, pretty easy, all tiers, not easy, but you can do it. With a group of 2 people you can farm it even with PvP setups and hunt other players. In terms of reward inside of this chest, they are still so-so, but the main benefit of going on Avalonian roads right now will be amount of fame. Amount of fame that you're gonna get by killing these bosses is actually insane. There are 3 stages, like in static group dungeons. First, second and the third one. It affects bosses and mobs itself. On the first stage, they are still useless, they are still bad. But on the second stage, on the third stage, amount of fame that you get is insane. We can get, let's say, tier 8 spot, third stage of the boss, we can get around 2 million of fame. It's insane, 2 mil for just killing a boss. And amount of health was also reduced. If you was playing previous patch, number 2, Beyond the Veil patch number 2, you remember these bosses that you will fight in patch number 3, they are literally the same, but amount of health was drastically reduced. So if in patch number 2 it got around 60-80k of health, right now they got around 15k of health. So it's more than killable. If you're a solo player or a 2-man group, you can easily farm them and get insane rewards, in terms of experience of course. Loot is still bad. The same goes to medium and golden chests. Very important change. Let's read further. Camps and their chests are now respawned significantly faster due to the new split in camp distribution across different group sizes. No specific camp size will see a reduction in available content, despite having fewer locations available. Mobs protecting the chest in the roads now upgrade as the chest upgrades. Further, when a chest upgrades, it will respawn all mobs around it. So, if you remember old Avalonian roads, you was roaming, there is no action, no PvP, and farming these small green chests was a waste of time, because rewards will be super bad. So now at least, if there will be no people around, you can just farm this small camp and get a pretty decent amount of fame as rewards. On top of that, what we noticed, so we farmed several tier 3 green chests, and all chests, final chests, were purple. So as I understood, every time when you will clear this boss, you will get purple chest, which means much better rewards. What I would do, if I would roam around, I would skip level 1, definitely chests, and would hunt only for level 2 and level 3 chests. Green chest, if I would be a solo player or would play with 1 or 2 friends. Let's go next. New environment. The roads of Avalon now feature revamped environment visuals. So this updates the look and feel of the roads to better match the rest of Albion, while retaining their unique identity. I, to be honest, don't know why they have done this. Well, nice to have these visual changes, will not lie. But all the Avalonian roads also look pretty nice. I don't see any sense to change it. It's more work to do. I got no clue. Better they would rework environment of open world, not Avalonian roads itself. But probably Avalonian roads rework would take much less time. It is what it is. Okay. Mob ability changes, who will not read it, it's not interesting. Yeah, some balance stuff. By the way, about these patch notes, I will leave a link on these patch notes in first pinned message and in description of this video. Streamer mode introduced. An optional safe streamer mode has been introduced. This mode can be turned on and off in the settings menu. When turned on, it hides various UI components that could be used to find the character position while live streaming. It also hides login email when game disconnects to avoid sharing this with viewers. The only useful thing about this streamer mode is this thing, this login email, that hides login email, and that's all. In reality, it will not save content creators, streamers from stream sniping. Even if you will cover your map, minimap, if you will black screen entirely your monitor to your viewers, people who want to find you and ruin your content will find you. The only way how you can protect yourself versus stream sniping is to make a delay in 5 minutes. But in this case it is not even a streaming, it is just watching a VOD. So it's so-so. There is a good thing. Let's imagine there will be a new content creator from another game that will come into Albion, and it will be a nice first impression. Oh, look! SBI care about content creators. They even have a streamer mode, which in reality is useless until SBI will not start banning for a short period of time people who intentionally ruin content, not even sniping, harassing other content creators, because there are plenty of examples how they do that. I mean, they just follow step by step and intentionally ruin viewer experience. Until they will not start do that, this is useless. This is completely useless. Let's go further. Other changes. It's regarding teleport. It's not interesting. Let's move immediately to combat balance changes. This is the most important part. Okay, after Avalonian roster work. Access. Raging Blades. It is W ability, vast improvement hit detection to be more reliable. Nice, and added an additional hit directly on activation. Inner ring radius was reduced from 2.5 meters to 2 meters. In reality, it is a huge buff, which might make this ability again in meta. I imagine also already imagine insane amount of variations how you can use it as an ex-user, especially with Mercenary Jacket to heal up immediately on full around mobs or around 2 players. Just imagine Mercenary Jacket, W spell, immediately full health. I want to test it. Daggers. One of my favorite part of this patch notes is dagger pair, but we'll move to these changes a bit later. Shadow Edge, all daggers, improved hit detection at maximum range. What does it mean? So basically, let's imagine a scenario. You are hitting your Shadow Edge on maximum range, and you are not hitting your enemy only because he moved on the left or on the right side on 1 meter. Now it will not work in such way. Now you will actually hit with your Shadow Edge and will teleport to your enemy. Which is nice to have. And let's move to Dagger Pair. The cast is now uninterruptible. Cast range was increased from 2 meters to 3 meters, and cast range tolerance was increased from 5 meters to 7 meters. What does it mean? The cast will no longer be cancelled by easily running away. When it was happening, let's say you are casting your E-spell and your enemy is using any movement spell ability, like regular run. And thanks to this movement speed, he was able to cancel your E-spell. which was annoying as hell. The same thing about cast range. It was unplayable with these 2 meters, and I think 3 meters is also low. It needs to be at least 4 or 3.5. Needed buff, and it might change lots of scenarios, especially versus kite setups. The cast is now uninterruptible. If you was playing dagger pair a lot, or was trying this weapon, I can bet you faced this pretty often when your E-spell was interrupted by random abilities, like random fear, random knockback, random stun. People were not even trying to interrupt this dagger pair E-spell, but it was always interrupted by some spell. It was so obnoxious, so annoying ability that made this weapon unplayable in almost all scenarios. So yeah, thank God we got such changes, and maybe people will start playing this weapon. It will not be OP, I'm telling you that right now, it will not, but might make them playable in lots of content. Let's move further. Hammers. Iron Breaker, all hammers, its Q ability, now also removes enemy shields. I wish this change would be when the Beyond the Veil updates hit live servers, when there was Avalonian maces meta to remove their shields. But it was not the case. So now imagine scenario when there is a ZVZ and your enemy got arcane with shields. Now you can remove these shields with one Q spell, which is nice. Let's go further. Nature Steps. Rejuvenating Flower, all nature steps. The flower on the ground is now activated by any ally stepping on it. Flower area radius was increased from 3 meters to 5 meters. And maximum targets were increased from 5 to 10. Stand time was decreased from 0.4 to 0 seconds. Will make this ability, I think, must have in all ZVZ and large-scale fights. Spiritual Seed, Druidic Step. Cooldown after recast was increased from 20 seconds to 30 seconds. Casting it once, it still has 20 seconds cooldown. Okay, and Spirit Animal. Rampant Staff. Maximum targets were increased from 15 to 20. Healing increased per ally was decreased from 30 to 20, but maximum targets for heal is increased from 10 to 20. I am not a ZVZ player and I'm not playing on healing weapons. If you are a ZVZ player and playing these weapons, please type your feedback, what you think about this change, especially Rampant Staff. And this is obviously a few direct buff, huge buff, but about Rampant Staff I'm not sure how it will affect large-scale battles. Let's move next. Quarter Steps, Hurricane, Ironclad Step. Channel duration was decreased, from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. Goodbye Ratty Rats. Goodbye Ratty Rats. It's ability that was knockbacking your enemy, basically. Spears. A Breakthrough Daybreaker. Cast time was decreased from 0.5 seconds to 0.3 seconds, and dash speed was also increased from 20 meters per second to 24. Daybreaker is Avalonian Spear. What can I say? This weapon was clanky as hell, and it was the main problem why it was losing to one-handed spear. One-handed spear was just much responsive weapon to play on in almost all scenarios. Daybreaker got nice effects, nice native damage, but it was super slow. It's nice change, and I want to test it in solo PvP, corrupted dungeons, and in mists. Better than nothing, and I like the direction that's going with this weapon. If it will not be enough, I would decrease cast time even more, but again we need to test it. Love this change. And the main change of this patch notes, at least for me, it is Spinning Blades Dual Swords. The caster now is immune to OCC crowd control effects during the jump. But there was a message today on stream from a viewer that said you cannot avoid Firewall for some reason. I hope it's a bug and it will be fixed. So yeah, Damage is now independent on heroic charges. It always does 2 heroic charges damage now, which means you can combine it with Assassin Jacket buff on damage and deal some impact in PvP, actual PvP. What amount of damage it will be with 2 heroic charges? Let's say if I'll use 8.1 dual swords with Stalker Jacket, it will be 981 with maximum specs. I was playing just today with this weapon with exactly the same setup that I told you, and it got 981 damage. Was around 1k, which is okay. Also, enemies are knocked airborne for 0.6 seconds on impact, which is nice, and it is working on mounts. So basically you can combine it with your split slash to completely dismount your enemy, which is very strong. Auto attack buff duration was reduced from 5 seconds to 3 seconds, but auto attack buff damage was increased from 50% to 100%. In general, I don't like this part of the C spell that increase your auto attack damage, which is nice in PvE. In PvP also only will be viable in scenario when your enemy will not kite you, will not run away. But we know that it's not the case. In most of the scenarios, people will just run away from you while your buff is active, especially if it lasts only for 3 seconds. So it is so-so. But we'll see again how it will affect real-life scenarios. Next changes is regarding shoes. A blink on cleric sandals, raging blink on stalker shoes, and evasive jump on royal shoes will have immunity also versus purchase for a short period of time during this iframe. Yeah. So let's imagine there is a Fiend Cowl flying into you, this purple bubble, and you can avoid this purge just by using your blink, which is good. Mists. Long hostile dismount. Ability cooldown was increased from 12 seconds to 15 seconds. So basically when you're fighting an enemy and there will be a third guy, instead of 12 seconds cooldown, he will have 15 seconds. I still think that it is not enough. It should be around 17 seconds minimum. But that's not a real issue. The real problem that this hostile dismount mechanic is not working properly. Insane amount of scenarios when were on my stream, on other content creators' Twitch streams, and they got recorded examples when this mechanic was basically not working. I'm fighting 1 versus 1 a guy, and there's a third party person that is come to us, press A button, dismount, and has 5 seconds cooldown. Why it's working, who knows? I was also in such scenarios when I'm just running in mist. I see 2 guys are fighting, I dismount in front of their face, and I got 5 seconds cooldown. Why? How? Who knows? So the main thing that they need to fix is this mechanic, so it would actually work. That's what I want to see. Next, spell fixes. Mostly I don't read fixes, but this is very important. Fixed issue where the Storm Shield spell on Wild Magic File Scale Rope was incorrectly triggered by each tick of damage over time spells. If you was watching my highlights from 1 month ago or a few weeks ago, I was showing you there how I was perma-stunning my enemy to death. While my Wild Magic ability was active, they were not moving at all. Mostly it was working versus Axis. Now it's not the case. It is a bug. It was actually a bug, and now it's fixed, which automatically make the whole rope, fire scale rope, completely useless, because first ability is horrible. I mean, this radius is horrible. You can miss this ability. Low amount of damage, low amount of duration. Nowadays, while this Storm Shield also will be useless. And third ability on this file scale rope will be the only spell that can be usable in some one-shot scenarios, one-shot builds, but people will not use it anyway, only because you're squishy, you got no defensives. no one will use it. It will be a niche scenario where you will see people using this file scale rope. The problem with this rope is that you need to spend insane amount of time just by waiting. First stage, second stage, third stage. Pretty often you might misclick, especially when you was crowd controlled. Let's say I'm pressing my third stage and during my press button I'm getting knockback. And after I will be able to control my character, my rope will be anyway activated, and I will, instead of third ability, I will use my fire ability. And that's all. I can do anything, I'm a dead man. So yeah, they fixed it. And now this rope is completely useless. Devs need to, SBI need to rework this rope completely. Sad but true. Okay, Mist Cloud, Mistwalker Jacket now only apply invisibility to party members. Okay. One more important fix is this one. Fixed issue where no husky audio would play with each mount cast. I can bet you was facing it insane amount of times when you are in the city, and there is one guy that was spamming this howl ability on this husky and was ruining your gameplay experience. Now it's fixed. Overall, it's nice patch notes. I like it. The only thing that I did not enjoy at all is time that we needed to wait until this patch would be installed on the live server. Also, we still don't know what awaits us in the second part of this Beyond the Whale update, because there's Brazilian reputation, which is basically useless. There is no dev talks. I know it, holidays, New Year, I know, but SBI, please release at least some kind of video on your YouTube channel and tell us about your plans, roadmap, second part of this Beyond the Whale patch, at least something. But yeah, for today it is all. I hope you enjoyed this patch notes, and by the way, don't forget to subscribe on the channel and go on my Discord so you would not miss any future videos, highlights, shorts. We're gonna test daggers in open world, corrupted dungeons and mists. Also, we're gonna test this Daybreaker and dual swords. I sincerely hope that these dual daggers will be playable again. I want it so much. It is one of my favorite weapons, but it's so useless. Sad but true. Again, guys, don't forget to press like button and see ya pretty soon. Bye bye.